The power of emotional control. Learn the art of not reacting. Written and published by Echo Tales. Introduction. The power of emotional control. Emotional control is a superpower. It shapes your choices. It strengthens your character. And it gives you the calm confidence that so many people spend their whole lives searching for. Most people react without thinking. They speak too fast. They get angry too quickly. They let small moments pull them out of balance. But you are here because you want something different. You want to rise above the noise. You want to respond with clarity, not emotion. This book is designed to guide you through that transformation. It will show you why your reactions matter. It will help you understand your triggers. And it will teach you how to stay steady when everything around you feels tense or chaotic. In the chapters ahead, you will learn simple but powerful tools. Tools that help you pause before you speak. Tools that help you control your thoughts. Tools that help you detach from stress, conflict, and emotional pressure. You will discover how to stay neutral in challenging moments, set calm boundaries, and protect your inner peace with confidence. Every idea in this book is practical. Every lesson is clear. And every strategy is designed for real-life situations. You will learn how to take control in conversations, relationships, and daily challenges. You will learn how to stay centered when others lose balance. And you will learn how to create a mindset that protects your energy and your well-being. Think of this introduction as an invitation to step into a new way of thinking and a new way of living. A life where you choose your response. A life where you stay calm even when the world feels rushed. A life where your emotions serve you instead of holding you back. By the end of this audiobook, you will understand what true emotional control feels like. You will feel stronger, clearer, and more grounded. You will no longer react out of habit. You will respond with intention. So take a breath, settle in, and get ready to learn the art of not reacting. Your journey to emotional mastery begins now. Chapter 1. Understanding your emotional triggers. Every reaction has a beginning. Every burst of anger, every moment of stress, every sudden feeling that throws you off balance. It all starts with something deeper, something small, something often hidden. That hidden spark is your emotional trigger. Emotional triggers are moments that pull a strong reaction out of you before you even notice what is happening. They come from past experiences. They come from familiar patterns. And they come from beliefs you may not even be aware of. This chapter will help you bring those triggers into the light, because you cannot control what you do not understand. And emotional control always begins with awareness. Imagine you are sitting in traffic. You are calm. The day is going well. Then a driver cuts you off. Your mood shifts instantly. Your heart races. Your voice rises. You feel the urge to shout or speed up. Nothing truly dangerous happened, yet your whole body reacts. This is a trigger. Something small fires up something big. Now think of another example. You are in a conversation with someone close to you. They interrupt you, or they talk over you, even if they do not mean harm. Something inside you tightens. You feel dismissed. You feel unseen. You feel your patience fade. This is another trigger. Something about the moment connects with a deeper wound or a past experience. Triggers are powerful because they bypass your logic. They jump straight into your emotional system. They tell your mind that something is wrong, and your body reacts as if it is true. This process happens fast, often in seconds. That is why emotional triggers feel so overwhelming. You do not choose them. They choose you. Until you learn how to take back control. To understand your triggers, you must first understand yourself. One helpful way to do this is to slow down the moments when you feel shaken. When something bothers you, do not focus on the situation at first. Focus on the feeling. Ask yourself simple questions. What exactly am I feeling right now? Where is this feeling coming from? Why does this moment feel stronger than it should? When you ask these questions, you begin to separate the trigger from the reaction. And when you separate them, you gain clarity. You start to notice patterns. You start to see that certain people, places, or situations activate the same emotional response again and again. For example, many people have a trigger around respect. A small sign of disrespect can feel like a big attack. Others have triggers around rejection. A small comment can feel like being pushed away. Some have triggers around control. When someone else takes charge, it feels like they are losing their place or their voice. There is nothing wrong with having triggers. Everyone has them. They are shaped by life experience, and every experience leaves a mark. Your job is not to erase the mark. Your job is to understand it, because understanding gives you power. Let's explore a simple story to show how this works. A young man named Arif always became tense whenever someone questioned his decisions. At work, he felt attacked, even when feedback was gentle. In relationships, he reacted defensively, even when the other person only wanted clarity. For years he thought people were challenging him on purpose. But the real issue was a trigger that came from childhood. He grew up in a home where every mistake was criticized. Every choice was doubted. So when someone questioned him as an adult, the old wound opened again. Once he understood this, he changed. The moment he felt the old response rising, he paused. He reminded himself that he was no longer that child. And with time, the trigger lost its strength. Awareness gives you that same power. When you understand your emotional history, you can change your emotional future. When you know the story behind your reactions, the reactions stop controlling you. And when you recognize a trigger in real time, you create space. Space to breathe. Space to think. Space to choose a better response. To help you start this process, try a simple exercise. Think of the last 3 moments when you reacted strongly. Moments when your emotions moved faster than your logic. Write them down if you want, or replay them in your mind. Then ask yourself, what happened? What did I feel? And what does this moment remind me of? Just observe it. Awareness is not about blame. It is about knowledge. It is about seeing yourself clearly so that you can grow. Understanding your emotional triggers does not happen in a day. It is a gradual journey, but each insight adds a new layer of strength. Each moment of awareness gives you more control, and each trigger you understand becomes a trigger you can master. This chapter is the first step. It opens the door to your inner world. It helps you see the patterns that shape your reactions, and it prepares you for the deeper lessons ahead. Because emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about understanding them. It is about meeting them with clarity, instead of confusion. And it is about choosing your reaction instead of letting your reaction choose you. You are now ready for the next step in your journey. In the next chapter you will learn the power of the pause. The pause that protects your peace. The pause that gives you control. The pause that changes everything. Chapter 2. The pause that protects your power. There is a moment in every reaction that decides everything. A moment that is small, quiet, and easy to miss. But this single moment holds incredible power. It is the moment before you respond. The pause that protects your power. Most people rush past this moment. They speak without thinking. They react without awareness. They let emotions take over before the mind has a chance to guide them. But when you learn to pause, even for a brief second, everything changes. The pause becomes a shield. It becomes a reset. It becomes a choice. Think about a time when someone spoke to you in a harsh tone. Your first instinct may have been to defend yourself, or push back. Your heart raced. Your voice rose. Your body prepared for conflict. But imagine if you paused first. Imagine if you took one slow breath before responding. That small moment of stillness would have changed the entire outcome. The argument might not have started. The tension might not have grown. And you would have stayed in control instead of being pulled into chaos. The pause is not about staying silent forever. It is about giving yourself enough space to choose your next move with clarity. Because the truth is simple. When you pause, you give yourself time to think. When you think, you gain perspective. And when you gain perspective, you respond with intention instead of impulse. Let's explore a real-world story to make this clearer. A woman named Syra worked in a busy office. Her team relied on her, but the pressure often made her feel stressed. Whenever her manager gave sudden instructions, she reacted quickly, sometimes too quickly. She felt overwhelmed, and her tone became sharp without her meaning it. This created misunderstandings with her manager and co-workers. One day after a tense meeting, she decided to try something different. She made a simple rule for herself. Before responding to anything stressful, she would pause for one breath, just one. The next week, when her manager placed another urgent task on her desk, she felt the familiar tension rise. Her shoulders tightened. Her thoughts raced. But she remembered her rule. She paused. She inhaled slowly. She exhaled calmly. That single breath changed everything. Instead of reacting with frustration, she asked one clear question. Which part should I focus on first? Her manager smiled and explained the priority. The moment of conflict never arrived. The pause protected her power. This is the gift of the pause. It helps you avoid unnecessary battles. It helps you stop miscommunication before it grows. It helps you see the situation without emotional fog. And most importantly, it helps you protect your peace. The pause also helps you control your internal world. Strong emotions move fast. They rise suddenly. They cloud judgment. But if you can pause for even 2 seconds, you interrupt the emotional surge. You stop the reaction before it fully forms. You gain a moment of freedom from the automatic patterns that used to control you. To make the pause part of your life, you can start with simple habits. These habits do not require long hours or special techniques. They only require awareness. Here are a few practices to help you build this skill. First, notice the moment your emotion rises. Do not judge it. Do not push it away. Just notice it. Awareness is the first step. Second, take one slow breath. This breath is your anchor. It slows your heart. It clears your thoughts. And it gives your mind a chance to lead. Third, ask yourself one guiding question. For example, what is the real issue here? Is this worth my energy? What response will bring peace, not tension? This question brings instant clarity. Fourth, choose a calm, intentional response. Not a reaction, a response. A choice that reflects strength instead of impulse. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. What begins as effort turns into instinct. Your natural reaction becomes a pause instead of an explosion. Your natural tone becomes calm instead of chaotic. Your natural mindset becomes thoughtful instead of rushed. Some people fear that pausing makes them weak. But the opposite is true. Pausing shows strength. It shows discipline. It shows emotional maturity. Anyone can react fast. Only the strong choose to pause. When you learn this skill, you stop handing your power to others. You stop letting stress dictate your choices. You stop letting anger drive your actions. You take back control of your inner world, moment by moment. This chapter has one simple message. Your power is in the pause. Your clarity is in the pause. Your freedom is in the pause. In the next chapter you will go even deeper. You will learn how your inner dialogue shapes your emotional world. You will learn how the voice inside your mind can calm you or control you, and you will learn how to guide that inner voice towards strength and stability. Your journey continues, and it begins with one quiet, powerful moment: the pause. Chapter 3. Mastering your inner dialogue. There is a voice inside your mind that speaks long before you say a single word out loud. It comments on your choices. It shapes your confidence. It influences your emotions. This voice is your inner dialogue, and the way you speak to yourself determines how you react to the world around you. Your inner dialogue is powerful. It can calm you, or it can confuse you. It can steady you, or it can shake you. It can guide you toward clarity, or pull you into stress and fear. This chapter will help you understand that voice, reshape it, and use it as a tool for emotional control. Most people move through life without noticing their inner dialogue. They let their thoughts run wild. They let old fears and old stories take the lead. They allow their minds to repeat the same negative messages over and over, and without knowing it, they train themselves to react emotionally instead of responding with strength and intention. To master your inner dialogue, you must first learn to hear it. Imagine you are walking into a room full of new people. You want to make a good impression, but your mind whispers, "Do not mess this up, or no one here will take you seriously." You have not spoken to anyone yet, but your mood has already shifted. Your shoulders tense. Your confidence drops. Your reactions become uncertain. All because of one quiet sentence inside your mind. Now imagine the same situation with a different inner message. Instead of doubt, your mind says, "Stay calm, be yourself," or "You are ready for this." Your posture changes. Your breath steadies. Your reactions become more controlled. With just a few words, your entire emotional world shifts. This is the power of inner dialogue. It shapes how you feel before anything even happens. One of the best ways to take control of this voice is to slow down your thinking. When a strong emotion rises, your inner dialogue becomes loud. It says things like, "This is too much," or "I cannot handle this." These thoughts can make a small problem feel huge. They can turn a simple moment into a stressful one. But when you pause and observe the voice without reacting to it, something changes. You begin to notice that your thoughts are not commands. They are not facts. They are simply mental habits. And habits can be changed. Let's look at a real-world example. A man named Daniel worked in customer service. Every day he received calls from frustrated people. At first he handled them well, but after a few difficult conversations, his inner dialogue became negative. Each time the phone rang he thought, "Here we go again," or "This will be another impossible customer." Before the call even started, he was stressed. His reactions were sharp. His patience was thin. His mind was preparing for conflict. One morning, a colleague gave him simple advice. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you care about. Daniel tried it. Before the next call, he told himself, "Stay calm, you know what to do," or "This person needs help, not anger." These small messages changed his emotional state. The calls became easier. His reactions became calmer, and his job became less stressful. not because the customers changed, but because his inner dialogue did. Your self-talk influences your emotional triggers. Your self-talk influences your pause. Your self-talk influences your reactions. This is why mastering your inner dialogue is essential for emotional control. To reshape your inner dialogue, you can practice simple steps that help guide your thoughts. First, listen without judgment. Do not push your thoughts away. Do not get angry at them. Just hear them. Awareness is the doorway to change. Second, question the negative messages. If your mind says, "I cannot handle this," ask yourself, is that true? If your mind says, "This will go wrong," ask, what if it goes right? These questions weaken the grip of negative thinking. Third, replace harsh thoughts with balanced ones. Not unrealistic thoughts, not fake positivity, just calm, supportive messages. For example, "I can handle this. I have done difficult things before. I will take this one step at a time." Simple messages that steady your mind. Fourth, practice short mental resets. When your thoughts spiral, pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Give yourself a calm internal instruction. Something like "slow down" or "let's think clearly." These resets break emotional momentum. Remember, the goal is not to silence your inner voice. The goal is to guide it, to train it, to make it work for you instead of against you. Your inner dialogue is a constant companion. It is with you in every decision, every conversation, and every reaction. When you learn to master it, you gain a tremendous advantage. You begin to respond to life with intention instead of impulse. You begin to choose clarity over chaos, and you begin to shape your emotions rather than being shaped by them. In the next chapter, you will build on this skill. You will learn how to detach from other people's behavior. You will discover how to stop letting the actions of others control your emotional state. This next lesson will help you stay grounded, balanced and unshaken. Your mind is learning new strength, and this strength will guide you forward. Chapter 4. Detaching from other people's behavior. One of the greatest challenges in emotional control is learning how to stay steady when others are not. You may stay calm, but someone else may not. You may speak with respect, but someone else may raise their voice. You may act with clarity, but someone else may act from fear, anger, or confusion. Their behavior can pull you into reactions you never wanted, unless you learn the skill of detachment. Detachment is not coldness. It is not distance. It is not shutting people out. True detachment is simple. It is the ability to stay centered, no matter what someone else does or says. It is the ability to separate your inner peace from another person's emotional storm. It is the ability to remain grounded in your own sense of self. Many people struggle with this because they believe they must match the energy around them. If someone raises their voice, they raise theirs too. If someone is frustrated, they absorb the frustration. If someone is rude, they react in defense. This pattern feels natural, but it is also exhausting. It gives your power away to every person you meet. Imagine your emotions as a clear, still lake. Every person you interact with throws a stone. Some stones are small, some are heavy, some are sharp. But detachment means you do not jump into the water to chase the stone. You stay on the shore, watching the ripples without becoming the ripples. Your clarity stays intact. Let's explore a real situation. A man named Imran worked as a supervisor in a busy workshop. His days were filled with noise, pressure, and constant requests. One of his co-workers often complained and blamed others for every issue. At first, Imran reacted to every complaint. He argued back. He defended himself. He took every word personally. By the end of each day he felt drained. One afternoon, After a stressful exchange, he realized something important. The co-worker's negativity had nothing to do with him. The complaints were a reflection of the co-worker's stress, not his own worth. So Imran tried a new approach. The next time the co-worker complained, he paused. He listened. He acknowledged the concern with calm words. Then he moved on without absorbing the frustration. He did not take the behavior personally. He stayed rooted in his own calm. And slowly the co-worker's negativity no longer affected him. This is the heart of detachment. It is recognizing that other people's emotions are theirs, not yours. Their stress is theirs. Their anger is theirs. Their frustration is theirs. You do not have to carry it. Detachment becomes easier when you understand three key truths. Truth 1. Everyone acts from their own inner world. People behave based on their beliefs, fears, wounds, and habits. Their reactions reveal their internal state, not your value. When you remember this, you stop taking behavior personally. Truth 2. You cannot control others. You can guide. You can communicate. You can model calm behavior. But you cannot force someone to act with respect, patience, or logic. You can only choose how you respond. Truth 3. Your peace is your responsibility. If you give it away every time someone speaks sharply, you will live in constant emotional chaos. But if you protect it, you gain stability in every environment. A helpful way to practice detachment is through mental distance. When someone behaves in a way that triggers you, imagine taking one step back in your mind, not physically, but emotionally. This mental step gives you space. It separates you from the heat of the moment. It allows you to see the situation without being consumed by it. Here is a simple exercise you can try. The next time someone speaks with frustration or impatience, do not respond immediately. Let their words finish. Take a breath, and silently remind yourself, this is their emotion, not mine. This reminder creates an instant emotional barrier. You will feel the difference immediately. Another useful practice is to repeat a grounding statement. Something calm, something steady, something that protects your inner balance. For example, I choose my response. I stay calm inside. I will not carry this energy. These statements bring your mind back to center. Detachment also helps you see people with compassion. When you realize their reactions come from their own struggles, your frustration softens. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of matching their energy, you maintain your own. Instead of defending yourself, you stay aligned with your values. This does not mean you accept disrespect. Detachment and boundaries work together. Boundaries protect your environment. Detachment protects your emotions. Together they give you peace and strength. Over time, detachment becomes a natural part of your emotional toolkit. You stop feeling responsible for how others behave. You stop letting tension spread from their world into yours. You stop reacting to every wave that comes your way. And when you live this way, you gain something priceless. Emotional freedom. A type of freedom that stays with you in every room, every conversation, and every challenge. In the next chapter, you will build on this foundation. You will learn the discipline of staying neutral, a skill that allows you to see situations clearly without judgment or emotional distortion. A skill that strengthens your reactions and deepens your control. You are growing stronger with every step, and your emotional world is becoming steadier, clearer, and more grounded. Chapter 5. The discipline of staying neutral. Staying neutral is one of the strongest emotional skills you can develop. Neutrality does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you lack passion. It does not mean you stay silent when something matters. Neutrality simply means you refuse to let emotion take the lead before clarity does. It means you choose balance over impulse. Neutrality is the middle ground between reaction and wisdom. When you stay neutral, you see the situation as it is, not as emotion paints it. You hear people clearly, without the noise of assumptions or past experiences. You think with steadiness, instead of tension, and you respond from strength instead of pressure. But neutrality is not an easy skill. It is a discipline. It requires awareness, patience, and a deep sense of inner calm. The good news is that it can be learned, and once you learn it, every area of your life improves. Let's begin with a simple example. Imagine two people disagreeing about something small. Maybe it is a late message. Maybe it is a misunderstanding. Maybe it is a difference in opinion. If both people react emotionally, the situation escalates. Voices rise. Assumptions grow. Tension spreads. The problem becomes larger than it ever needed to be. Now imagine if even one person stays neutral. They listen without taking things personally. They pause before responding. They ask clear questions. Their calm energy slows the tension. The conflict softens. The conversation becomes manageable. This is the power of neutrality. It does not demand silence. It demands steadiness. Neutrality creates space for clarity. Clarity creates better choices. Better choices create better outcomes. To understand neutrality more deeply, let's explore a real-world story. A young teacher named Maya worked with a group of energetic students. Some days were easy. Some days were not. One afternoon a student became frustrated and raised his voice at her. Her first instinct was to match his tone. Her heart jumped. Her breath tightened. But she remembered a lesson from her mentor. Stay neutral. Respond from the calm part of yourself. So Maya took a slow breath. She kept her voice steady. She spoke clearly and calmly. Her neutral presence changed the entire moment. The student's anger settled. The room quieted. And the conversation continued with respect. Maya did not suppress emotion. She guided it. Her neutrality became leadership. This is what neutrality can do in your own life. It helps you regulate emotional tension in yourself and in others. When you stay neutral, you become an anchor. You become the steady point in the storm. And people naturally follow your calm. To practice neutrality, you can use 3 simple disciplines. Discipline 1. Observe before responding. When something happens, do not react instantly. Watch it. Listen to it. Let the moment settle in your mind. Observation creates room for understanding. Discipline 2. Separate facts from feelings. Facts are what happened. Feelings are what you experienced. When you mix them, emotions take over. When you separate them, clarity rises. Ask yourself, what is the fact here? And then ask, what feeling is this triggering? This small distinction makes neutrality easier. Discipline 3. Use simple, calm language. You do not need sharp words to express yourself. Neutrality thrives in clear, steady communication. Phrases like, let me think for a moment. I want to understand this clearly. Let's look at this calmly. These statements protect your emotional space and guide the conversation back to clarity. Neutrality does not remove emotion. It organizes it. It moves emotion to the passenger seat instead of the driver's seat. It gives you time to process what you feel without letting the feeling make decisions for you. There is another important part of neutrality. It protects your peace. When you stay neutral, you stop absorbing energy that does not belong to you. You stop reacting to every tone, every word, every expression. You remain balanced even when others are unbalanced. And that balance spreads into your choices, your relationships and your daily life. Some people misunderstand neutrality and think it means being passive. But the truth is the opposite. Neutrality allows you to act with intention. It gives you the mental space to step in when needed, and step back when not. It strengthens your ability to lead, communicate, and make wise decisions. The discipline of neutrality also improves your internal world. When you learn to stay neutral in difficult moments, your thoughts become clearer, your inner dialogue softens, your stress decreases, you begin to trust yourself more, you feel less threatened by challenges, and you gain confidence in your emotional strength. Neutrality is not a single skill, it is a mindset that says, I choose clarity, a mindset that says, I protect my peace, a mindset that says, I will not let emotion decide for me. As you move forward in your emotional journey, neutrality becomes one of your greatest tools. It works alongside awareness. It works alongside the pause. It works alongside your inner dialogue. Together these skills create a stable emotional foundation. In the next chapter you will strengthen this foundation even more. You will learn how to build mental boundaries. Boundaries that protect your energy. Boundaries that support your emotional discipline. Boundaries that help you stay steady in any environment. Your mind is growing stronger. Your reactions are becoming wiser. And your emotional control is taking deeper root. Chapter 6. Building mental boundaries. Emotional control is not only about how you respond, it is also about what you allow into your mind. Your thoughts are like a home. Some people bring peace, some bring noise, some bring confusion or stress. Mental boundaries are the doors and walls that protect that home. They keep your inner world safe, steady and calm. Without mental boundaries, anyone can influence your mood. A negative comment can ruin your day. A careless remark can take over your mind. A stressful situation can follow you long after it ends. You lose your center because you let too many things enter your mental space. But when you build mental boundaries, you take back control. You decide what deserves your attention. You decide what energy you accept. You decide what thoughts stay, and what thoughts leave. This is how mental strength grows. Let's begin with something simple. A boundary is not a wall between you and the world. It is a filter that keeps out what drains you and protects what matters to you. A filter that gives you the emotional space to think clearly. Consider this example. A young woman named Rena worked in a busy office. Her co-workers often discussed their problems with her. They complained about deadlines. They argued about small issues. They shared personal drama every morning. Rena tried to be helpful, but the constant negativity began to change her mood. She felt tired even before she started her work. The emotional weight of others became her own. One day she realized something important. She was carrying problems that did not belong to her. She was absorbing emotions that were not hers to manage. So she created a mental boundary. Whenever someone came to her with negativity, she listened politely. But inside she repeated a simple phrase. This is not mine to carry. She stayed kind, but she protected her mind. And slowly she felt lighter. The stress around her no longer controlled her. This is the power of mental boundaries. They protect your mind from emotional overload. They give you strength that others cannot take from you. They keep your inner world peaceful, even when the outer world is chaotic. To build strong mental boundaries, you can use a few simple practices. Practice 1. Know what drains you. Pay attention to the moments when your energy drops. Maybe it is certain conversations. Maybe it is certain environments. Maybe it is certain people who always expect emotional labor from you. Awareness helps you identify what needs boundaries. Practice 2. Create mental distance. When someone is upset, their emotion tries to pull you in. Instead of absorbing it, imagine stepping back inside your mind. You can picture a clear line between their emotion and your peace. You can remind yourself, I can care without carrying this. This small shift protects your emotional strength. Practice 3. Limit mental replay. Sometimes the real exhaustion does not come from the moment itself. It comes from thinking about it again and again, replaying an argument, rehearsing a conversation, imagining what you should have said. This mental replay drains you long after the situation has ended. A boundary stops the replay. You can tell yourself, I will not revisit this, and bring your focus back to the present. Practice 4. Guard your attention. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. It shapes your thoughts. It shapes your emotions. It shapes your day. Protect it from distractions, gossip, criticism, and unnecessary drama. Give it only to what supports your growth and peace. Mental boundaries also help you stay grounded in your own identity. People will have opinions about you. Some will praise you. Some will judge you. Some will misunderstand you. But when you have boundaries, their opinions do not control your self-worth. You do not bend your identity to fit their expectations. You remain steady in who you are. Here is another real example. A man named Farhan posted his artwork online. He loved creating, but negative comments bothered him deeply. Even one harsh message could distract him for hours. He felt discouraged and doubted his own ability. Then he learned the value of mental boundaries. He told himself, every opinion is filtered. Only the helpful ones stay. He read feedback with a calm mind. He took in what made sense. He released what was mean or unnecessary. And his confidence returned. Not because the comments changed, but because his boundaries did. This chapter teaches you that your peace is not something you find. It is something you protect. It is something you build with intention. And mental boundaries are one of your strongest tools. Boundaries do not separate you from others. They separate you from overwhelm. They separate you from emotional pressure. They separate you from unnecessary stress. They allow you to show up fully without losing yourself. As you continue this journey, your boundaries will grow stronger. You will feel less pulled by other people's behavior. You will feel less shaken by stressful moments. And you will feel more at home within your own mind. In the next chapter, you will take another step forward. You will explore the art of emotional minimalism, a practice that simplifies your emotional world and lightens your inner load. A practice that supports deeper calm and clarity. Your inner strength is rising, one boundary at a time. Chapter 7. The Art of Emotional Minimalism. Life feels heavy when you carry too many emotions at once. Small stresses pile up. Old frustrations linger. New worries take space in your mind. Over time, these emotional layers become clutter. You feel tired, overwhelmed, or unfocused, even when nothing major is happening. This is why emotional minimalism matters. Emotional minimalism is the practice of keeping your inner world simple and clean. It means not holding on to every feeling. It means not reacting to every thought. It means not letting unnecessary emotions drain your energy. It is not about ignoring your feelings. It is about choosing which feelings deserve space in your mind. Think of your emotions like items in a room. When the room is full of clutter, you cannot move easily. You bump into things. You lose what matters. You feel discomfort, even when the room is familiar. But when the space is clear, everything feels lighter. The same happens inside your emotional world. The less clutter you carry, the more clarity you gain. Let's begin with a simple example. A man named Safwan often felt exhausted by the end of the day, not because of hard physical work, but because he carried too many emotions at once. He worried about tasks that were already done. He replayed conversations that were over. He held on to small annoyances from the morning. Without knowing it, he filled his emotional space with unnecessary weight. One evening, after a stressful day, he decided to change something. He sat quietly and asked himself a simple question: what emotion do I need to let go of today? He realized that half of what he felt had nothing to do with the present moment. Some feelings belonged to yesterday, some belonged to last week, some belonged to situations he no longer needed to think about. He let those emotions go. Slowly his days became lighter, not because his life changed, but because his emotional space did. This is the essence of emotional minimalism. It is not about having no emotions. It is about keeping only what helps you grow. To understand this deeply, think about emotional habits. Some emotions repeat out of habit, not out of necessity. Annoyance becomes a habit. Overthinking becomes a habit. Worry becomes a habit. Even stress becomes a habit. Emotional minimalism helps you break these patterns by teaching you to choose your emotions with intention. Here are a few ways to practice it. Practice 1. Let go of emotional leftovers. Many emotions stay long after the moment has passed. You keep thinking about something small someone said. You keep replaying a mistake. You hold on to a feeling that no longer serves you. These leftover emotions take up space. When you notice them, ask yourself, does this emotion still belong to me? If the answer is no, release it. Practice 2. Simplify emotional reactions. Not every situation needs a big emotional response. Some issues are small. Some conversations are simple. Some moments are not worth deep emotional involvement. When you feel yourself reacting strongly, ask, is this worth my energy? If it is not, choose a lighter response. Practice 3. Avoid emotional multitasking. You cannot process everything at once. Trying to handle too many emotions at the same time makes your mind crowded. Instead, focus on one feeling at a time. Address it, understand it, then move on. This creates emotional clarity and inner focus. Practice 4. Protect your emotional space from unnecessary input. Sometimes clutter enters your mind from outside sources. Constant news, drama from others, arguments that do not involve you, comparisons on social media. All these things add emotional noise. Choose what you allow into your emotional space. Your peace deserves protection. Another part of emotional minimalism is learning to give your emotions a place to rest. Not every emotion needs to stay in your mind. Some emotions can be acknowledged and then set aside. For example, if you feel frustrated, you can say to yourself, I feel frustration, but I will not build a story around it. You see the emotion without feeding it. You accept it without expanding it. This simple approach keeps emotions small instead of letting them grow into something larger. Let's explore another real example. A woman named Layla often felt overwhelmed in social settings. She absorbed every emotion in the room. If someone looked unhappy, she felt responsible. If someone was stressed, she carried that stress. By the end of any gathering, she felt emotionally drained. One day she learned the principle of emotional minimalism. She told herself, I will only carry what is mine today. Whenever she sensed someone else's emotion, she mentally stepped back. She reminded herself, this feeling is not mine. Instead of taking in the entire emotional atmosphere, she kept her emotional space clean and simple. The results were powerful. She felt calmer. She felt lighter. She enjoyed her time with others without losing herself. Emotional minimalism brings clarity, but it also brings strength. When your emotional world is uncluttered, you make better decisions. You respond with intention. You stay present. Your mind becomes sharp and stable. You feel less overwhelmed by life's demands because your inner world is organized, not chaotic. This chapter teaches you something important. You do not need to carry everything you feel. You do not need to react to every thought. You do not need to hold on to every moment of tension. You can choose simplicity. You can choose calm. You can choose emotional lightness. In the next chapter you will take this clarity even further. You will learn how to transform stress into strength. You will discover how to work with pressure instead of being controlled by it. This next step will deepen your emotional stability and expand your resilience. Your emotional space is becoming lighter, and with each chapter your inner world becomes more your own. Chapter 8. Transforming stress into strength. Stress is a natural part of life. Everyone feels it. Everyone faces moments that push them, pressure them, or overwhelm them. But stress itself is not the enemy. What matters is how you respond to it. Stress can weaken you, or it can strengthen you. It can drain you, or it can develop you. This chapter teaches you how to turn stress into a source of power, instead of a source of fear. Many people treat stress as something to escape. They avoid it. They fight it. They see it as a sign that life is going wrong. But stress often appears when life is asking you to grow. It stretches your limits. It tests your mindset. It reveals what you need to improve. And when handled well, it becomes the fuel that shapes emotional strength. Let's start with a simple truth. Your body reacts to stress, but your mind interprets it. And your interpretation shapes your behavior. This means that the meaning you give to stress decides whether it breaks you or builds you. To understand this better, imagine two people facing the same challenge. Both experience stress. Both feel uncertainty. Both feel pressure. But one says, "I cannot handle this." The other says, "This will teach me something important." The situation is the same, but the outcome is completely different. One person feels defeated. The other becomes stronger. This is the power of interpretation. Let's explore a real example. A young man named Rafi worked in a restaurant kitchen. The pace was fast. The demands were high. During busy hours, orders piled up and mistakes happened. Rafi often felt stressed and feared losing control. Whenever things went wrong, he told himself, "I am failing." This made the stress heavier. His mind tightened. His emotions spiraled. One evening, after a difficult shift, his mentor pulled him aside. He said, "Stress is not your enemy. It is your trainer. It is showing you where to grow." Those words changed everything for Rafi. The next day, when the kitchen became chaotic again, he used a new approach. Instead of fighting the stress, he observed it. He reminded himself, "This is helping me get stronger." He slowed his breathing. He focused on one task at a time. The stress did not disappear, but it transformed. It became a challenge he could handle rather than a threat he feared. This is the shift that emotional control brings. Stress becomes a teacher. Pressure becomes practice. Discomfort becomes growth. To transform stress into strength, you can use several simple techniques. Technique 1. Change the meaning. When stress appears, pause and ask yourself, "What is this trying to teach me?" This question changes your mindset. It moves you from fear to curiosity. It gives stress a purpose instead of letting it feel like an attack. Technique 2. Break the moment into smaller pieces. Stress feels overwhelming when everything seems big at once. But when you break the moment into steps, the pressure drops. Focus on what you can do right now. One action, one decision, one step. Small steps give you power and momentum. Technique 3. Use stress as a signal, not a sentence. Stress signals that something needs attention. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to prioritize. Maybe you need to say no. Maybe you need to change your approach. Stress is information, not a punishment. Technique 4. Strengthen your physical response. Stress affects your body first. Your breathing changes. Your muscles tighten. Your focus narrows. You can interrupt this by taking one slow intentional breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. This single action resets your nervous system and gives your mind more control. Stress also becomes easier to handle when you build emotional resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly, the ability to stay steady under pressure, the ability to keep moving forward even when things feel difficult. And resilience grows when you face stress with awareness instead of fear. Let's explore another story. A woman named Hannah was preparing for an important presentation. She had practiced for weeks, but she still felt nervous. Her hands shook, her thoughts raced, her stress felt overwhelming. She wanted to run away from the moment, but instead of avoiding the stress, she tried something new. She told herself, "This stress means I care. It means I am ready for something meaningful." She did not fight the feeling. She turned it into focus. As she spoke, her stress transformed into energy. Her voice grew stronger. Her clarity improved. What began as anxiety became confidence. This is the secret. Stress can sharpen you if you allow it to. It can bring out your best. It can activate strength you did not know you had. Transforming stress into strength requires practice, but the results are powerful. You become more patient. You become more grounded. You become more aware of your inner capabilities. Stress stops being a force that controls you. It becomes a force that shapes you. This chapter teaches you that emotional control is not about avoiding difficult moments. It is about using them. It is about meeting pressure with presence. It is about choosing growth over avoidance. In the next chapter you will take this power further. You will learn the importance of choosing your response. You will discover how every reaction becomes an opportunity to show emotional strength. This next step will deepen your control and elevate your decisions. You are transforming, and every moment of stress becomes another step toward emotional mastery. Chapter 9. The power of choosing your response. Every moment in life gives you two paths, the path of reaction and the path of response. One is automatic, one is intentional. One gives your power away, the other protects it. This chapter is about choosing your response and understanding why this choice shapes your entire emotional life. A reaction is fast. It is driven by habit, emotion, and old patterns. A reaction happens before you think. A response is different. A response comes after you pause, after you breathe, after you consider what truly matters. A response is not controlled by the moment. It is controlled by you. Learning to choose your response is one of the most important skills in emotional control. It determines the quality of your relationships. It determines your ability to handle stress. It determines how you show up in the world. People remember your responses, not your intentions. And the more intentional you become, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes. Let's explore this through a simple story. A man named Ian managed a small team at work. One morning, a colleague approached him with frustration. Her voice was sharp. Her words were rushed. She blamed him for a mistake he did not make. Ian felt the familiar rise of defensiveness. His mind wanted to fire back. His emotions pushed him toward reaction. But he remembered something he had been practicing. He paused. He breathed. He chose his response. Instead of reacting, he said calmly, "Let's look at what really happened." His tone was steady. His presence was grounded. The colleague softened almost instantly. Together they reviewed the situation. The mistake had come from a misunderstanding, not from either of them. The conflict dissolved before it could grow. Ian walked away from that conversation feeling strong, not because he won a disagreement, but because he chose his response. He stayed in control of himself, and when you control yourself, you control the moment. This is the power of intentional response. It turns tension into clarity. It turns conflict into understanding. It turns emotional chaos into emotional leadership. Choosing your response begins with one question: what outcome do I want in this moment? When you ask this question, your mind shifts from emotion to direction. Instead of reacting based on how you feel, you respond based on what you want to create. Do you want peace? Do you want clarity? Do you want understanding? Do you want progress? Your response becomes a tool for the outcome you choose. You can use several simple steps to make this process part of your daily life. Step 1. Pause before you respond. Even 1 second changes everything. It gives your mind time to catch up with your emotions. It turns reaction into intention. Step 2. Identify the emotion you feel. Naming the emotion weakens its power. I feel angry. I feel stressed. I feel pressured. Once you name the emotion, it becomes something you can manage, instead of something that controls you. Step 3. Ask what the moment truly needs. Not what your emotion wants. What the moment needs. It might need patience. It might need silence. It might need clarity. It might need courage. Asking this question brings immediate perspective. Step 4. Choose the response that reflects the best version of you. Not the reactive version. Not the emotional version. The intentional version. The version of you that shows discipline, wisdom and calm strength. This is how emotional leadership is born. Not from loud words, not from force, but from presence, from awareness, from choosing your response with purpose. Let's look at another example. A young woman named Felicia lived with her younger siblings. They often argued, made noise, and tested her patience. For years, she reacted quickly. She raised her voice. She felt guilty afterward, but did not know how to change. One day she learned the principle of intentional response. She decided to try it with her siblings. The next time they argued, she felt the familiar frustration rise, but she paused. She asked herself, what outcome do I want right now? The answer was clear. She wanted cooperation, not conflict. So she lowered her voice. She spoke slowly. She guided them with calm instructions. To her surprise, they responded better than ever. Her calm response created a calm environment. Her patience encouraged their cooperation, and the entire home felt different. Choosing your response does not only change your behavior, it changes the atmosphere around you. It influences how people treat you. It shapes the direction of conversations. It turns emotional pressure into emotional clarity. This chapter teaches you one powerful truth. You cannot control every situation. You cannot control every person, but you can always control your response. And when you control your response, you control your experience of life. Choosing your response is a skill. It takes practice. It takes awareness. It takes discipline, but with time, it becomes your default. You stop reacting out of habit. You stop letting emotions lead. You become thoughtful, steady, and deliberate. In the next chapter, you will continue building this strength. You will learn how to release emotional weight through the process of emotional detox and letting go. This next lesson will help you clear your mind, protect your energy, and free yourself from what no longer serves you. Your emotional mastery is growing, one intentional response at a time. Chapter 10. Emotional Detox and Letting Go. Your mind holds more than your thoughts. It holds memories, beliefs, fears, and emotions that stay long after the moment has passed. Some of these emotions support you. They guide you. They help you grow. But others weigh you down. They drain your energy. They cloud your clarity. They make your emotional world heavier than it needs to be. This is why emotional detox matters. Emotional detox is the process of clearing out what no longer serves you. It is not about forgetting your past. It is about releasing the parts of it that still hurt you. It is about letting go of emotional weight that blocks your peace. It is about choosing freedom over emotional storage. Letting go is not easy. You may hold on to certain emotions because they feel familiar. You may replay moments because you hope they will make sense. You may hold on to hurt because it became part of your identity without you realizing it. But letting go is a skill, not a personality trait. And once you learn this skill, your inner world becomes lighter, clearer, and more grounded. Let's begin with a simple story. A young man named Samir carried anger from an old argument with his brother. The argument had happened years ago, but it lived in his mind like it happened yesterday. He replayed it often. He added new layers to it each time. He imagined different outcomes. He imagined what he should have said. Every replay made the memory stronger. Every replay kept the anger alive. One evening, after feeling exhausted by the same thoughts, Samir asked himself a question. What is this anger doing for me now? The answer was clear. Nothing. It did not protect him. It did not help him. It did not change the past. All it did was weigh him down. So he made a decision to let it go, not by pretending the moment never happened, but by releasing its hold on his life. He stopped replaying it. He stopped feeding it. And over time the memory lost its emotional force. This is the power of emotional detox. You break the cycle. You stop giving energy to emotions that no longer deserve your attention. Letting go begins with one important truth. You cannot move forward while holding on to what holds you back. To release emotional weight, you can follow a few simple steps. Step 1. Identify what you are still carrying. Some emotions are obvious. Others hide behind thoughts or habits. Ask yourself, what memory drains me? What emotion returns again and again? What situation from the past still controls my mood? Clarity is the first stage of release. Step 2. Accept the emotion without judgment. Letting go does not mean attacking yourself for feeling something. You are human. Your feelings are valid. But acceptance opens the door. When you say, yes, this emotion is here, you remove resistance. And without resistance, healing becomes easier. Step 3. Break the habit of replaying the emotion. Emotions stay alive through repetition. Every time you rethink the same moment, you feed it. To detox, you must stop repeating the story. When the thought appears, say quietly, "Not now." Redirect your mind. This simple act weakens the emotional pattern. Step 4. Replace weight with clarity. After you release something, fill the space with a healthier message. You might tell yourself, "I choose peace," or "This moment no longer defines me." These statements create emotional direction. Letting go also means releasing emotions that never belonged to you in the first place. You may carry guilt that came from someone else's expectation. You may carry fear that came from someone else's judgment. You may carry sadness that came from someone else's actions. Emotional detox teaches you to give these emotions back. They are not yours. You do not have to carry them. Here is another example. A woman named Nebbiela always felt responsible for the emotions of her family. If someone was upset, she carried the worry. If someone was stressed, she absorbed the tension. She thought she was being helpful, but she was slowly losing herself. One morning she realized she was not living her own emotional life. She was living theirs. She decided to practice emotional detox. When someone shared their stress, she listened with compassion, but inside she reminded herself, this emotion belongs to them. She supported others without carrying their weight, and for the first time in years she felt free. This type of release is powerful. It gives you your energy back. It helps you breathe without emotional heaviness. It strengthens your boundaries and restores your balance. There is one more important part of emotional detox: forgiveness. Not forgiveness as approval. Not forgiveness as forgetting. Forgiveness as release. Forgiveness as letting go of the emotional grip the past has on you. Forgiveness says this moment will no longer control my future. Forgiveness frees you, not the other person. Emotional detox takes time. It requires patience and self-awareness. Some emotions release quickly, others release slowly. Both are okay. What matters is your direction. Each moment of release creates more space for peace, more space for clarity, more space for emotional freedom. This chapter teaches you something essential. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is gaining. You gain peace. You gain strength. You gain control over your inner world. You gain the freedom to move forward without unnecessary emotional weight. In the next chapter, your growth continues. You will learn the practice of inner calm through stillness. You will discover simple habits that quiet your mind and protect your emotional balance. These skills will deepen your foundation and strengthen your emotional mastery. You are releasing what no longer serves you, and you are making space for the calm, strong version of yourself that is ready to rise. Chapter 11. Practicing stillness and inner calm. True emotional control begins in moments the world cannot see, not in public, not during conflict, not during pressure, but in the quiet space within your mind. Stillness is where your emotional strength grows. Inner calm is where your clarity returns. This chapter will guide you into that quiet center and teach you how to access it whenever you need it. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means being fully present with yourself. It means letting your mind settle. It means giving your thoughts space to breathe, instead of letting them race uncontrollably. Inner calm is the result of this practice. A steady, grounded feeling that stays with you even when life becomes noisy. Many people struggle with calm because they believe it depends on external conditions. They think calm comes from a quiet room, a perfect day, or a stress-free environment. But real calm comes from inside. It is a skill you build, a habit you train, a state of mind you can enter even in the middle of a busy, stressful moment. Let's begin with a simple story. A man named Rehan commuted through a crowded city every day. The noise was constant. The traffic was intense. People rushed past with little awareness. Rehan often arrived at work already stressed. One morning he decided to try something new. Instead of fighting the noise, he created a small pocket of stillness inside himself. He focused on his breath as he walked. Slow inhale, slow exhale. He allowed the sounds around him to exist without letting them control his mood. That day something changed. He felt calm even in the middle of the chaos. The city had not changed. His inner world had. This is the power of practicing stillness. It gives you control over your emotional environment. No matter where you are, stillness has many forms. You can practice it through breath. You can practice it through silence. You can practice it through mindful awareness. All of these techniques help you return to the present moment, where calm naturally lives. Here are a few simple practices to help you cultivate inner calm. Practice 1. Gentle breathing. Your breath is the easiest path to stillness. When stress rises, your breath becomes shallow and fast. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your nervous system resets. Try this simple pattern. Inhale slowly through your nose. Pause for a moment. Exhale gently through your mouth. Repeat until your mind softens. This one practice can quiet emotional storms. Practice 2. Quiet observation. Instead of reacting to your thoughts, observe them like clouds passing by. Watch them without chasing them. Watch them without judging them. This creates space between you and your emotions. And in that space, calm grows naturally. Practice 3. Short moments of silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is healing. Even a few seconds of silence during a busy day can ground you. Between tasks, between conversations, between thoughts, a moment of silence helps your mind rest and reset. Practice 4. Anchoring your attention. Choose one simple sensory point to bring you back to the present. It could be the feeling of your feet on the ground. It could be the sound of your breath. It could be the warmth of your hands. Anchoring keeps your mind from drifting into tension and worries. Stillness is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about meeting yourself with calm curiosity, rather than rushing through your emotions. It is the opposite of pressure. It is the opposite of reactivity. It is emotional precision. Let's explore another example. A woman named Selena was known among her friends as someone who always kept the peace. But inside, she often felt overwhelmed. When challenges appeared, she felt her thoughts spiral. Her mind became loud and scattered. She decided to try something she had heard about called 1-minute stillness. Once every hour, she paused whatever she was doing. She closed her eyes, took a slow breath, and allowed her mind to settle for 60 seconds. This simple habit changed her entire emotional rhythm. Her reactions softened. Her clarity increased. Her stress decreased. She discovered that calm was not something you find at the end of the day. It is something you create throughout the day. Inner calm becomes easier when you build it like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. And soon, calm becomes your natural state, not a rare moment. There is a deeper benefit to stillness. Stillness allows you to listen. It helps you hear your intuition. It helps you understand your emotions. It helps you separate true concern from imagined fear. Stillness reveals answers that noise hides. Inner calm also helps you handle conflict more effectively. When your mind is calm, you listen better. You speak more clearly. You choose your responses with intention. You do not take things personally as easily. And you protect your emotional balance, even in difficult conversations. Stillness is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the foundation of emotional maturity. It is the space where wisdom grows. It is the environment where emotional control becomes natural, effortless and stable. This chapter teaches you one powerful truth. Calm is not found. Calm is created. It is something you practice deliberately. It is something you carry within you. And once you learn how to access it, the world around you loses its ability to shake you. In the next chapter, you will build on this inner calm. You will learn how to train your mind for long-term emotional control. You will discover habits and routines that strengthen your emotional foundation and keep your inner world steady for years to come. You are learning to be still. You are learning to be grounded. And through this stillness you are finding a deeper version of yourself. Chapter 12. Training the mind for long-term control. Emotional control is not something you achieve once and never think about again. It is a long-term practice, a mental discipline you build through daily habits and intentional choices. Just like the body grows stronger through repeated exercise, the mind grows stronger through repeated awareness. This chapter will guide you through the habits that create lasting emotional strength. The mind is always learning. It learns from what you think about. It learns from what you focus on. It learns from how you respond to challenges. Every day your mind is shaping itself. The question is simple. Is it shaping itself by accident or by your direction? Training the mind begins with consistent practice, not dramatic effort. Small habits matter more than intense moments. What you do every day becomes your emotional identity, and when your daily habits support emotional control, you begin to live from a place of stability rather than reactivity. Let's start with a simple example. A man named MTS wanted to feel more emotionally steady. He often found himself overwhelmed by stress or frustration. He made a choice to train his mind using small habits. Every morning, he spent 2 minutes focusing on his breath. Every afternoon he paused before responding to difficult messages. Every evening, he reflected on one reaction he wished he handled better. These habits were small but they changed him. He did not transform in one day. He transformed through consistency. This is how long-term emotional control is built. The first step in mental training is awareness repetition. Awareness is the foundation of emotional control, but it must be practiced daily. Notice your emotions often. Notice your thoughts. Notice your reactions. The more you practice noticing, the faster your mind catches emotional patterns. You begin to recognize triggers before they take over. You begin to pause naturally. You begin to choose your response without effort. The second step is intentional focus. Your mind follows your attention. If your attention rests on stress, your stress grows. If your attention rests on negativity, negativity expands. But if your attention rests on calm, clarity and purpose, these qualities rise. Choose what you give mental space to. Your focus is one of your strongest tools. The third step is mental resets. Even the strongest mind needs resets throughout the day. A reset can be as simple as one deep breath, a moment of silence, a change of posture, or a single grounding thought such as, stay centered. These resets prevent emotional buildup and keep your mind clear. The fourth step is healthy mental input. Your mind becomes what it consumes. If you fill it with arguments, comparison, noise and negativity, emotional chaos becomes normal. If you fill it with learning, reflection, calm conversation and positive guidance, emotional strength becomes normal. You choose what enters your mind. Choose wisely. Protect your mental environment the way you protect your physical space. Let's explore another story to bring this idea to life. A woman named Fazana struggled with overthinking. Every small problem became a long mental journey. Her mind replayed conversations. Her thoughts jumped ahead to possible problems. She felt tired even on quiet days. To train her mind, she created a simple routine. Every time her thoughts spiraled, she said, "Return to now." She repeated this phrase gently, without judgment. At first, it felt like hard work, but over time, her mind learned. Her thoughts slowed, Her emotional clarity improved. Through repetition, her mind became calmer and more disciplined. This is the power of long-term training. Your mind learns from what you repeat, not once, not twice, but consistently. Another key part of mental training is emotional endurance. Emotional endurance is the ability to stay steady during long periods of stress or challenge. You build endurance by facing discomfort without collapsing into old habits, by staying present even when the moment feels heavy, by reminding yourself, I can handle this instead of, this is too much. Each moment of endurance strengthens your emotional muscles. Long-term control also requires mental flexibility. Life will not always go your way. Plans will change. People will disappoint you. Unexpected challenges will appear. A rigid mind breaks easily. A flexible mind adapts. Flexibility does not mean giving up. It means adjusting your approach without losing your balance. You can train this by practicing two thoughts. This moment is temporary, and I can find a solution. These thoughts keep your mind from becoming stuck. They open the door to creativity and resilience. To make your training complete, you must build a daily emotional rhythm. A rhythm is a simple sequence of practices that keep your mind balanced. It does not need to be complicated. It can look like this: morning, a few minutes of calm breathing or reflection. Midday, a pause before responding to anything stressful. Evening, a short review of one moment you handled well. This rhythm teaches your mind stability. It teaches your emotions consistency. It protects you from reactive patterns and strengthens your ability to stay centered. There is one more powerful part of long-term emotional training: self-compassion. You will not be perfect every day. You will slip. You will react at times. You will struggle. This is normal. The goal is progress, not perfection. When you treat yourself with compassion, your mind becomes more cooperative. Self-criticism tightens the mind. Self-compassion opens it, and an open mind learns faster. This chapter teaches you that emotional control is a lifestyle. It grows with time. It grows with practice. It grows with patience. And with every habit you build, you become more grounded, more aware, and more capable of handling life with calm strength. In the next chapter, you will bring everything together as you learn what it means to live as the calmest person in the room. A person who leads with presence. A person who inspires peace. A person who shows true emotional mastery through their everyday choices. Your mind is becoming stronger, and your emotional foundation is almost complete. Chapter 13. Living as the calmest person in the room. There is a special kind of strength that does not need to be loud. It does not need to control others. It does not need to prove itself. This strength comes from calm. When you live as the calmest person in the room, you do not dominate the moment. You elevate it. Your presence brings clarity. Your energy softens tension. Your steadiness becomes a quiet form of leadership. Being calm is not a trait you are born with. It is a skill you build. It is the result of everything you have learned in this journey. Awareness, pause, inner dialogue, boundaries, stillness, and emotional release. Each chapter has prepared you for this moment. This chapter brings those skills together and shows you how to live them every day. Living as the calmest person in the room begins with mindset. Calm is not a reaction to your environment. Calm is the energy you choose to bring into the environment. It starts with a simple belief: I will not let external noise control my internal peace. Let's explore this idea through a story. A young teacher named Noor worked in a school where stress was common. Teachers rushed from class to class. Students brought their anxieties into the room. Parents worried about grades and deadlines. Everywhere she went, there was noise, emotional noise and physical noise. But Noor carried something different. She carried calm. When students argued, she stayed steady. When parents raised concerns, she spoke patiently. When co-workers panicked, she breathed deeply and guided them. Over time, people began to seek her out, not because she had all the answers, but because her calm made them feel grounded. Her presence brought balance. She was the calmest person in the room, and her calm became a gift. This kind of presence begins with emotional discipline. To be calm on the outside, you must be steady on the inside. And steadiness grows from 3 practices: awareness, intentional behavior, and emotional neutrality. Awareness helps you recognize your emotional state before it influences your actions. When you notice tension rising, you can soften it. When you notice irritation forming, you can pause. When you notice pressure building, you can breathe through it. Awareness gives you early access to your emotional landscape. Intentional behavior means you choose your tone, your pace, and your energy. You speak slower when emotions rise. You listen more than you talk. You move with steadiness instead of urgency. Your calm becomes deliberate, not accidental. Emotional neutrality allows you to see situations without being swallowed by them. You do not attach yourself to every emotion in the room. You do not absorb every tone. You do not mirror other people's anxiety. You observe, you understand, and then you respond with clarity. Living as the calmest person in the room does not mean you never feel pressure. It means you know how to handle pressure without losing yourself. It means you can carry stability even when others cannot. It means your calm becomes your contribution to the moment. Here are a few ways to practice this intentional presence. Practice 1. Enter with calm. Before you walk into a room, take one slow breath. Center yourself. Choose your energy. This simple act sets your tone before the environment sets it for you. Practice 2. Slow down your pace. In stressful rooms, people move fast. Their minds race. Their words rush. When you slow your pace, everything around you softens. Calm spreads through action, not force. Practice 3. Listen fully before speaking. Most conflicts grow because people react before understanding. Listening deeply allows you to respond with precision. It creates space for clarity and reduces emotional intensity. Practice 4. Use calm language. Your words shape the room. Soft, steady language reduces tension immediately. Simple phrases like, "Let's take a moment. So we can solve this calmly. Let's look at this clearly." These words guide the room back to balance. Practice 5. Protect your emotional center. Do not carry emotions that do not belong to you. Do not let others transfer their stress onto your mind. Your calm is your responsibility. Guard it gently but firmly. Let's look at another story to see these principles in action. A manager named Haris oversaw a team facing constant deadlines. Meetings were intense. People spoke over each other. Small problems turned into emotional storms. At first Haris reacted like everyone else. But as he learned more about emotional control, he tried a new approach. Before each meeting, he took a quiet moment to center himself. He entered the room slowly. He spoke with a steady tone. He waited a few seconds before answering questions. He did not absorb others' panic. Over time the team changed. They mirrored his calms. They argued less. They listened more. The room felt different because one person chose to be different. Calm is contagious. Just as stress spreads quickly, calm spreads even faster. People naturally lean toward the person who is centered. They feel safer around them. They think more clearly around them. They trust them more. Living as the calmest person in the room turns you into a quiet leader. You do not lead with authority. You lead with presence. A calm presence influences without pushing. It guides without forcing. It inspires without trying. This chapter teaches you one final truth about emotional mastery. Your greatest power is not in controlling others. Your greatest power is in controlling the energy you bring. When you walk into a room with calm, you elevate the room. When you stay steady, you influence the environment instead of being shaped by it. And when you live from inner calm, your life becomes more peaceful, more intentional, and more grounded. You now understand emotional triggers. You have learned the pause. You have shaped your inner dialogue. You have detached from external behavior. You have practiced neutrality. You have built boundaries. You have simplified your emotions. You have turned stress into strength. You have chosen your responses. You have released emotional weight. You have practiced stillness. You have trained your mind. Now you embody calms. You are ready to move through life with presence, clarity, and strength. Conclusion. Your new emotional identity. You have reached the end of this journey, but in many ways you are standing at the beginning of something new. A new way of thinking. A new way of reacting. A new way of living. This book has guided you through the layers of emotional control. Now it is time to bring those layers together and understand the identity you have been building. Your new emotional identity is not defined by perfection. It is defined by awareness. You now recognize your triggers before they pull you off center. You understand the power of pausing before you respond. You have learned to listen to your inner dialogue and guide it with intention. You know how to detach from other people's behavior, so their emotions no longer steal your peace. You have practiced the discipline of neutrality. You have set boundaries that protect your mind. You have embraced emotional minimalism to keep your inner world light and clear. You have turned stress into strength instead of letting it overwhelm you. You have learned to choose your responses with purpose rather than impulse. You have released emotional weight that no longer serves your future. You have cultivated stillness and inner calm, and you have trained your mind for long-term control. These are not small skills. These are not temporary improvements. These are foundations for a new emotional identity, an identity built on clarity, discipline, and calm. Your new emotional identity is strong, but it is also gentle. It knows when to speak and when to stay silent. It knows when to step forward and when to step back. It chooses peace without becoming passive. It chooses clarity without becoming cold. It chooses strength without becoming harsh. You no longer react to every moment. You choose which moments deserve your energy. You choose which emotions deserve space in your mind. You choose which thoughts you allow to shape your day. This is emotional freedom. This is emotional leadership. This is emotional maturity. As you step into your life after this book, remember one simple truth. You are the author of your emotional world. No situation, no person, no challenge has the right to decide your inner state. You make that decision, and you now have the tools to make it with wisdom and strength. There will be days when old habits try to return. That is normal. There will be moments when you slip, react quickly, or feel overwhelmed. That is part of being human. What matters is not perfection. What matters is awareness. Each time you recognize an old pattern, you can return to your new identity. Each time you pause, you reinforce your new strength. Each time you choose calm, you confirm who you are becoming. You have everything you need to live with emotional clarity. You have the mindset. You have the skills. You have the discipline. And now you have the identity. The calmest person in the room is not someone who avoids life. It is someone who meets life with steady presence and thoughtful action. That person is you. When you choose to live from your center instead of your reactions. As you move forward, carry this identity with pride. Carry it with confidence. Carry it with the understanding that emotional mastery is a lifelong journey. But you are already walking the strongest part of the path. Your new emotional identity is built on strength, clarity, and inner peace. It is built on the choices you make every day. And it will continue to grow as long as you nurture it. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are calmer. You are clearer. You are stronger. You have learned the art of not reacting. And now you are ready to live it. Fully, confidently, and intentionally. Your emotional transformation has already begun. And this is only the start.